What's up, y'all? I got my tea, but I ran out of my Earl Grey tea, so I snagged some of the wife's fruit tea. This is called Wild Berry Zinger. I guess there's a bit of zing in there, I'm not sure. Definitely got the berry taste. Still prefer the Earl Grey, but what can you do? I ran out, didn't pay attention to how little I had left. What's up, Cat?
Bro, what are we listening to?
Bro, we are listening to Rochervore from that famous Iniquitous album. Yeah. We're starting off on track 7, which is Incovenant Secondary, I believe. You have a look for yourself. Look at them dudes. Cool painting there. Like something you'd see on a early Incantation album. Coming Storm, Onward to Golgotha, that kind of shit. There's cool pictures in there. Look at that there. Look at them dudes. Negative. That's cool. I always like the negative image. I always like that. That's fun to me. Oh, look at that flyer, though. Look at that damn flyer. How fucking cool would that show have been? Ooh. Impetigo, Repulsion, Deceased, Phlegm, Incantation, Rochervore, Embalmer, Vital Remains, and more. Woo! That'd have been cool. That would have been cool. Wonder how many people who went to that show are still involved with the scene. Just out of curiosity. As is the same thing, you see all them old flyers and you're like, who was around for that other than the bands? And hell, half the time, not even all the band members are even the same. Incantation went through a lot of members too. Of course, a lot of them dudes end up doing other stuff in metal. No. One of them ones, man. See who lasts the longest. Yep. What we gonna do today? Well, what the fuck we got here? We got Mitzvot. There's Mitzvot from Duskblade. You two are, I swear you guys are wise, intelligent, very knowledgeable people. The two of you, man, I swear, like, my God. If I had to form a government with you two, or some kind of community with you two, I think we'd do all right, be honest with you. We'd have a nice place to live. We should do that. We should start our own something. Community, nation, whatever. Get Mike Violate. Yeah. We gotta have him there. Foolish Dave. Robert G. You know all you people are, man. Start our own freaking state. Yeah. Anyways, Misfot says, we're talking about that occult stuff. Misfot's got a cool way of putting this. Talk about, let's just say, a guitar. First, you have to define what a guitar is not. So in order to define something, sometimes you have to carve away all the things that it's not. What was it, Da Vinci or something that made that carved statue out of marble of a horse? And he said that, somebody was like, how'd you do that? He's like, easy, I just carved away all the pieces that weren't a horse. I mean, it's genius, and Mitzvot's kind of sharing that same idea here. So to define something, sometimes you have to define what it's not. He continues, the first part of defining, because you know what it is not. A guitar. Well, it's not a car. It's not a living thing. He continues, after that, you can start defining what it is. That's when you're actually able to start using words to narrow down definitions even further. I think that some of what comes into play with occult knowledge is they only seem to define what it isn't, and being in the group is where you start learning what it is. And being around it narrows it down more. Too long-winded, doesn't make sense? It's okay, my brain is a retard and I'm terrible at getting my thoughts out. No, you did. Yeah, like, from the outside, if you were just to, like, not know what a guitar was and only, like, a secret cult used guitars, you wouldn't know what it is. You wouldn't even know how to define it. You just know it's a thing they have. Oh, it's a thing they carry. It's a thing they carry, it makes noise. And then once you get in there to the club, then you start like, oh, it's the strings, and they have certain notes, and they're, it's carved, out of wood to do this particular thing with this particular string. And then the further you get into the cult, then you start to learn about music theory and why they know how these notes all work together. Then you're in like the music theory. So yeah, to understand something that is hidden from you, just kind of look at it from that point of view. Take something that you know backwards and forwards and just apply knowledge as if you didn't know anything about it. And you got to realize in the occulted groups, remember there's initiate levels, then there's journeyman levels, and there's master levels. And most people you meet are going to be apprentices, maybe a journeyman. There's only a few people that are considered true masters and of a craft. And even among the masters, there's a hierarchy of them. So that's like anything. It's like in your real world, I mean, what does the occult and people have in common? People, it's all people. It's all words. It's all ideas. It's all context. So, and I think perspective, sometimes like this, like Mitzvah here, I think sometimes the perspective helps us get away the mystery in our head. We get mysteries in our head and we can't solve them. Well, sometimes you can't solve a mystery of a thing. Sometimes it's helpful to step outside of that thing and go look at something else with that lens and try to figure it out there. Sometimes studying something else will help you study this thing you can't figure out. I think educators call that a transfer of knowledge. If it works while I'm doing this, does it work over here? It can. It may not. But if it doesn't, that doesn't mean a failure. That's just more knowledge. Well, I know this guitar doesn't eat food or drink water. Aha, therefore the guitar is not a living thing. Well, there's a whole bunch of information you no longer need to define this guitar. You just helped yourself out. So you see how somehow omitting information can clear things up for you. I recommend y'all try that sometimes, just as thought experiments and stuff like that. And then looking at things that you can't define or can't understand. Yeah. Good stuff. It's what we're here to do. Grow and learn. Sometimes we gotta ask really weird questions that sometimes seem stupid, but sometimes they're not. It's just we need to get all on the same page. What do y'all think? Are we helping you by talking about this, or are we just confusing you more? Let us know. We're here to unmurky the water. If the water is all murky, we're trying to make it clearer so that we can see what's in the water. That's what I've always tried to do. Make things more clear to myself, and if I can help somebody else along the way, that's good. Teaching somebody how to do something is proof you know how to do it. So we got Captain Howdy. What's up, Captain Howdy? Captain Howdy. It's a little bit hard to meet girls when you're sober, so sometimes I drink to build a nerve. Well, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I think Justin even said that. He has to drink a beer sometimes at gatherings just to loosen up and talk. Yeah, we all need that. We all do. We all need something to kind of just, they call it breaking the ice, and build up the nerve, you know. What was another? Oh, it was a comic I was reading, and like these prostitutes had a brothel and they controlled it for their own offense. No, it wasn't Sin City, but it was like that. So like the prostitutes were gonna get raided, and they got their guns. They're like, let's fucking do this. And like the lead chick that ran the brothel was like, okay, girls, one shot apiece to steady them nerves, no more than that. They all slammed shots. We're like. And all of a sudden, they became like excellent shots. Yeah, man, you gotta do that. So yeah, talking to women, I still get nervous. I still get nervous talking in front of this camera. I get nervous talking to people, but you just kind of have to like, once you get the ball rolling, you're good to go. Gotta get that ball rolling. Gotta get that ice broken. For me, it was all about. It's okay to show some vulnerability by being a little bit awkward or a little bit nervous. You know, show a little bit of vulnerability, and then tell them something about yourself that nobody else knows, and you don't think anybody else would care about. Like, for me, it's all nerd stuff, like comics, death metal. That's usually an obvious one, though. You know, painting 40K miniatures, you know, something like that. It's to kind of like, you know, I don't know, kind of bring me back down to the level, you know. What else we got here? Yeah. That's all I wanted to talk about that. But this segues into a perfect point that I've been wanting to explain for a while. It's a story I just wanted to tell. So there was a meeting one time. This is a little bit of story time for the rest of the time out. So if you don't like stories, you can leave. You can hang out and listen to Roger Moore and hear me talk about something cool. So anyways, there was a meeting that changed my life. Completely. Upended, changed my life. I don't mean upended is like a bad thing, but it just kind of just shaped the direction of my life. And this meeting, I didn't even attend it. I didn't even know what was going on, didn't even know what was happening, didn't even find out till months later, if not a year later. So, I was flirting with a handful of females. There were about 3 of them. And I was flirting with all 3 of them, and here's the fun part, they all kind of knew each other. And then they eventually all did know each other, because they just surprised me by showing up. I'd be talking to one, another would show up, and have to be over there, be over here, blah, 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 and they'd watch me bounce back and forth. Then a third would show up, fuck me up. So I was into these 3 girls, and I hadn't gotten anywhere, but I was letting all 3 of them know I was interested in them. For different reasons. Each one of them for their own reasons. So a 4th girl that also knew me and was dating my friend called a meeting of these 3 girls. Young ladies, women, whatever. Called a meeting of them. And the 4th one was like, alright, y'all all got an issue. Y'all all like him, he all likes you, but only one person's gonna win this. So they sat down and were like, here's what it is. And by the way, I'll just tell you how I know this story. One of those women is my wife. So that's how this story changed my life forever, because she was the one that at the end of the meeting was like, I'm doing it. I guess one of them was a little bit timid and realized I was kind of a little freaky for her, like might have been, she was lukewarm and I'm scalding, and it was like, people were like, look, you're probably not going to stand a chance in the long run. So it was down to 2. And out of the 2, one of them actually confessed, I like him, I want to be with him, but I'm afraid he's actually insane. I think he's actually fucking crazy. Like, he plays up that shit, but I think he's lost his fucking mind somewhere along the way, and it just has a whole new way of vibing with reality that she herself didn't think she was strong enough or committed enough to go further with. And that left my wife, man. She wasn't my wife at the time, but it left her, and she was like, I like wild and crazy dudes. She's like, I like the wild and crazy types. I told the story to my wife. Before she was my wife, we were dating, because she's always like, it's not she likes bad boys, and it's not she likes crazy guys. She likes a nice healthy balance of bad and crazy. Not all the way bad because I'm going to prison, not all the way crazy like I need to be checked into a loony bin. But just a nice balance of off your fucking out of your fucking mind. So I told my wife this story before she was my wife. I was like, I was trying to get a vibe for it. I was like, ooh. So it's story within story. It's storyception now. So I was telling her a story about this real life case of this dude who whacked a federal judge and a federal prosecutor. He whacked a federal prosecutor in broad daylight at the courthouse steps as he was walking in. Just rolled up, pop, 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 pop. And then the federal judge, the same guy, ordered a pizza. And the pizza guy came and he like held the pizza guy against his will, kidnapped him basically. Take off all your fucking clothes, leave the pizza. Handcuffed him and bound him, bound and gagged him, and said, shut the fuck up, I'm going to be back in a couple hours. And when I do, I'm going to let you go. But I need all your shit for a minute. And the pizza guy was like, straight. He was like, I ain't going to rob you. In fact, I'll put money in your pocket for the inconvenience. You know? So he like really helped this pizza guy out. Dressed up like the pizza guy, went over to that fucking federal judge's house, knocked the door. Judge answers the door, boom, 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 boom. Puts down the federal judge. Well, anyways, the fucking cops get the fucking federal investigators, marshals, everybody's trying to find this dude. When they finally find this guy, they find him in a hotel. Yeah, he lives Pizza Guy Girl, by the way. Found him in a judge and found him in a motel and shit like that. He was hiding out, and the cops surrounded the place. And they managed to get a fucking camera stuck into his room, those fiber optic wire things to kind of like see what he was doing. And he knew he was surrounded. And they were like, bro, we got you. Come the fuck out. And he was like, hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm armed. Fucking back off. My wife's in here. Let's not shoot. He's like, my wife is in here. Don't shoot. He's like, we're going to settle this, but don't fucking shoot. And they're like, cool, cool, cool. We'll give you a few minutes to sort this out. So they got the camera in there to watch him. He fucking barricaded his wife in the bathroom, in the bathtub, and put a bunch of pillows and blankets and like all kinds of stuff all over her. So if any bullets did go through there, they would hopefully not hurt her. And as he was packing her in there, kissed her goodbye. Covered her, walked out the front door, and was like double wielding, like, let's do it. Yeah, they killed his ass. So I told my wife that story, and she was just like, that I love men like that. I've always wondered what it was like to be a woman of that kind of man. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going quite that far with it. I don't think I'll be doing any of those things, but you never know. Push comes to shove, you might do something ridiculous. And so I guess she saw in me that guy that I was telling her about, which was a real story. And the guy was a Texan. And he was a fucking badass, fucking crazy motherfucker in Texas. So, yeah. Anyways, I thought that was a fun story. That she ended up choosing me, and it was because of stories like that. And like stories like that was keeping the other girls from going, want, better not. Want, better not. And that happens so many times. So many women. And here's the other, there's more women advice for you young bucks out there. A lot of times girls, sometimes they just want to sample the fruit. It's like you're like a forbidden fruit or something like that. I've noticed a lot of women, they want to get that dude who's like a bodybuilder type guy, like he's jacked and physically ripped. Like a lot of women want to know what that fruit tastes like. They don't want to be married to it, but they want to sample that fruit. It's the same thing with crazy motherfuckers. There are women out there, trust me, they exist. I know from personal experience. There are beautiful, attractive, razor-sharp, intelligent women that want that crazy dude. Now, they don't want him to be married to him, but they want to sample, like, what's it like to be with a guy who's really touched in the head? What's it like? Yeah, I got to be that dude for a few of those women. Yeah. So, guys, hey, man, some advice to you, you know. Sometimes women just want to sample. And then sometimes women want to go all the way. They want to go literally all the way with you. They want to go to the end with you. So, don't hide what you really are. Don't hide who you truly are. But you need to introduce them kind of at a pace. Kind of at a pace. Just don't unburden yourself and throw it all down on the first date. That's a no-no. But just let them know on the first date that you either got a dark sense of humor, a morbid sense of humor, and you like silly things like talking to knitted cats. That's more of a third date thing. Don't let them know that till like the second or third date. When they come over to your apartment or something like that, your mom's house for the first time, be like, oh, one of the funniest ones I ever did though, This one girl was interested in me. I could tell by the way she was looking at me, and I knew I didn't stand a chance with her just because of where I was at in my life. And I was just like at my wits' end in my life. It just kind of all crumbled down, and I'm all like, just like, wow, my life is shit. And so she was like making me feel better just by flirting with me and stuff like that. And I was like, hey girl, I got a cheap bottle of vodka with your name on it. You come back to my place. So I got my own room at my mom's house. It's legit. Gonna fix you some SpaghettiOs or some ramen or something. And she was just laughing her ass off that it was like, it wasn't a joke, but that's what was funny. It was like, she's like, you're not joking, are you? So this was so cool. She was like, all right, dude, let's take off. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious right now? She's like, yeah, come on. I got my car over here. Let's go. And I looked at my friends and I was like, and they're like, what the fuck, dude? How'd that work? They're like, can you believe it? One of my friends was a female and she's like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, that didn't just work. No. She was so angry. So me and this girl walked out to her car. She's like, hey, look, I'm not actually going to do anything with you, but I know your friends are over there. So I'll drop you off wherever you want to go, but that's where it's going to end. But I just wanted to mess with your friends and, have some fun with y'all. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. That's way cooler than sleeping with me. Thank you. Yeah, my house is over there. Anyways, those were some fun story times because we're talking about the fairer sex, and I know some of the fairer sex are out there listening. So what do y'all think? Any women out there? Am I wrong? Am I right? What are y'all experiences there, ladies? And dudes, how'd you get your old lady? You married? You old enough? How'd you get your old lady, man? Kai? How'd you do it, bro? What was the thing that endeared her to you? Those are all fun stories. Share them. They're always fun. That's one of mine. I'm Calibrod. That's Cat. This is Roger Ford. What's up? Appalachian Warlord. See you next time.